Blimey. Either I mistake your shape and making quite, or else you are that shrewd and knavish sprite called Robin Goodfellow. Are not you he that frights the maidens of the villagery?
Thou speak'st aright. I am that merry wanderer of the night. I jest to Oberon and make him smile when I of fat and bean-fed horse beguile. But since in daisy chains I've got you, just call me Puck. That's as in what the.
Why then, naughty sprite? What the puck would you with me?
A clever bargain would I strike with you, sir. In love, methinks thou art a total loser. But put this potion in your sweetheart's eyes, and when she wakes, she'll get a big surprise. To him whom first she sees, her heart's enthralled, even if, like you, he ends up going bald.
And he gave me the potion.
Oh, my goodness. And it all came true.
Well, not entirely. As you can see, I didn't go bald. Just a little bit less not bald, which is a completely different thing. Anyway, Puck charged me fully 5 shillings for the potion. Every penny I had, in fact. But a small price to pay for a lifetime of domestic bliss, because it worked. Mine Anne has been besotted with me ever since, just as I am with her. Well, I mean, we've had our ups and downs.
The Dark Lady episode, for instance. Sweet Amelia Leia, daughter of the Venetian court musician, whom you did lust after most handsomely.
Yes, I do admit a brief and unfortunate infatuation there.
And the fair youth, whom also did you want to roister most rigidly?
For the final time, Bottom, I did not want to rigidly roister the Earl of Southampton. Honestly, I just don't know how these rumours get about.
Well, you did write most gushsomely about wanting to expend your spirit in his waste of shame.
By which I meant have a nice chat, obviously. But never mind all that. The point I'm making is that my Midsummer's play be not fey whimsy, but gritty realism.
And you don't think this Puck bloke might have been a con man?
Absolutely not. The potion worked. Anne's constant heart is proof of that. And now that we have established beyond any doubt that A Midsummer Night's Dream is definitely not mimsy-wimsy, soppy-grotty doodah, I must return to the question of gagging up the big reveal scene. I've promised Burbage that I'll give the lowly weaver a hilarious name, but what could that name be, Bottom? I ask you, Bottom, what could it be?
I've no idea, master.
Also, Burbage is expecting a big visual gag, and I'm equally at a loss for inspiration there.
In come I to make an ass of myself.
What merry trick is this?
Who am I?
Oh, it's you, Mr. Marlowe!
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I just thought I'd have a bit of fun with my latest trophy. Me and a couple of posh mates just been on a stag hunt.
Mr. Mallow, so that's his head.
Yeah. So much easier to bag. I mean, think about it. Stag, 5 hours creeping through streams and gorse to probably miss anyway. Ass, tethered to a post in a small paddock. You do the maths. Anyway, I thought I could hang it here till I get my permanent dig. So, I just love its proud brow and noble expression.
Gosh, Kit, what fun. And nice to have something to take my mind off my search for a really telling comic image for my Midsummer's play.
By the fairies' false fandangles does this fond fool think to gull me. 'Tis clear this soothing balm of which he speaks is the very potion with which he did seek to enchant his Anne. 'Tis certain he intends to ensure that Lord Aegeus be the first person I lay eyes on the morrow. Well, while I be very sure that this be not magic at all, and none but a con man's trickery, nonetheless, I see a way to serve his trick back up to him and put an end to his hopes that I marry Warty. Who the maid? Me the maid.
Robert Green has come a-calling.
I am arrived at this ridiculously early hour, as instructed Mr. Shakespeare, a most uncivilized imposition.
Well, you know, today's the big decision day, and Kate just couldn't wait to see Lord Aegeus. He will be here shortly?
I trust your urgent summons means the girl has come to her senses.
Absolutely. She will love Lord Aegeus most fervently the moment she sets eyes on him. But 'tis crucial that when his lordship arrives, we hide ourselves, that when Kate emerges, she sees only him. She must see his lordship first.
I need no potion to perform my magic trick. Just a fine brain and a firm resolve. Oh, Bottom! Bottom! My nighttime turding pot be fully rank and loaded. Canst thou turf its contents from the window? Oh, Bottom! Bottom!
Kate's awake. She'll want a turd-in pot turfed.
Bottom, no!
What angel wakes me from my flowery bed?
Angel, Kate, it's me, Bottom. I've come for your turd-in pot.
You're so beautiful.
No! What madness is this?
'Tis as if I see thee for the first time. My Bottom, come, embrace my Bottom, kiss my Bottom, caress, cuddle and delight my Bottom.
Bottom's his name.
Oh, well, of course that's all right then. Except not! Lord Aegeus will do dark murder to us all!
His Grace the Lord Aegeus. I've come for the girl.
I'm sorry, my lord, but I'm spoken for. I love my Bottom.
And with good reason. Fine buttocks, strong flanks, like a noble horse. It's your athletic equine quality that attracts me.
Your Grace, this foolish, wicked girl doth reject your advances. She loveth another.
Never! If I can't have her, no one shall. I will ruin her. I will ruin you all.
Bottom, grab Mr. Marlowe's trophy, and when I shout ass, put it on, and everybody duck. Look over here, Lord Aegeus! Ass!
What angel wakes me from my flowery bed? You are the most attractive biped I have ever seen. I do love thee. I shall mount thee.
Run, Bottom! Lose him in the local paddock. He can take his pick.
What madness is this? There is sorcery afoot! Lord Aegeus, what aileth thee?
Well, that was all a bit weird.
A toast to my dad, John Shakespeare, gentleman at last.
And anyone who says I ain't, I'll whack 'em on the bum with me heraldic shield.
We finally got our coat of arms. I am a Pampaloin once more, as I was in the house of my father. No longer the wife of a grotsome old barfing hog, for now I be married to a gentleman.
I still can't quite believe it. Chief Harold Green swore he'd do anything to deny us.
Ah, but that was before the Queen saw my big midsummer donkey gag play. She loved it and decreed that only the son of a gentleman could have writ such wit. And thus has she made me posh.
But, Master, you've always railed and ranted against how the Pampaloins and Folderols are on top in England just because they're posh.
Yes, Bottom, but that was before I managed to weasel my way into the club. Now I'm posh myself. I see the English class system as entirely appropriate, my own elevation wholly merited, and those beneath me a bunch of feckless, undeserving oiks.
Wish I could have been there to see Green's face, but can't risk going out in public. Too many knives sharpened. Too many musket balls with my name on them.
Really, Kit? I knew you were lying a bit low, but you're in real danger.
Mortal, mate. The whole spy gig's gone completely puffling pan-shaped. The Crown suspects me of being a double agent. My own fault. Keep getting Pislington and forgetting which near-identical branch of the same religion we're supposed to hunt down and kill.
Well, yes, it is confusing.
Which has not gone down well with the god-prodding purities who also accused me of being an atheist. I mean, in truth, Will, I'm in so much danger, I'll be better off dead. Cheers.
Hey up, the girls are back. Sounds like they've had a good time too.
It was good of Kate to take our Sue out sightseeing.
Well, who better to show her all London's spiritual treasures than a studious, sober, serious-minded girl like Kate?
Oh, my giddly goodly godlingtons, we have bought so much craplington.
Look at this brilliant shirting vest, Dad, with a comical motif stitched upon it. My friend hath visited London Elton, and all I got to be this stupid undershirting. Isn't it brilliant?
And look at all these sweet London souvenirs. A little severed head of a traitor on a keychain. A little incinerated Catholic martyr on a keychain. A little rotting plague corpse on a keychain. A little country maid who had journeyed here in search of honest work, but within 6 weeks has become a toothless, pox-ridden prostitute on a keychain.
Yeah, thanks very much, Kate. I think we get the gist. Right, you lot, if you'd like to start packing up, I'm sure Dad's busy.
Yes, wife, it is true. I'm terribly pushed just now. Mine sublime big donkey gag play has been such a smasheroo that Burbage demands I write another comedy. Yet I have not a comic idea in my head.
That's never stopped you before.
His comedy made you a gentleman. Now, come on, let's get out of his hair.
Yeah, what there is of it.
Which is, in fact, a lot, daughter. The impression of thinning is a trick of the light caused by my unusually shiny scalp.
You're bald, son. Own it. I apologise to no man, especially now I'm very, very posh and terribly refined. And quite the thing, don't you know? Watch out below, don't you know?
We will rehearse the scene now and perform it later in a crowded tavern. So, to work. Mr. Marlowe arrives at the tavern full of fury.
Intent on killing me?
Yes, that's right. You're playing his uncle Claudius.
Claudius? Why Claudius?
Oh, just thought it was a good name for a murdering, cuckolding Barstable.
Ah, so he's a murdering, cuckolding Barstable, is he? I like it. I shall give him a stoop and a limp for extra naturalism.
Love it. Now, Marlowe wants you dead because you poisoned his dad.
Tell them how, Mr. Shakespeare.
I certainly will. He poured it in his ear. I'm sorry, that's funny.
Yeah. Oh, I want to poison my brother. How shall I do it? Shall I secretly put it in his wine? Or discreetly bake it in his pie? No, I'll pour it in his ear. Isn't that how everybody poisons people?
But actually, I do think Mr. Shakespeare's right.
Thank you, Burbage.
Yes, the odd comic detail will pique the public interest in the case.
It is not comic. It's cruelly poignant. Now, having murdered Hamlet's dad, Marlowe's dad, Uncle Claudius is now a-dallying with Marlowe's mum. Mr. Condell, you will play Kit's mother, Gertrude.
Oh, quite a challenge. I'm horribly young for it.
Gertrude and Claudius are flirting together, and Marlowe arrives full of fury, bent on revenge.
I leap to my feet, a savage, stooped and limping villain. We fight, he dies. I like it. Yes, an excellent plot, and one I feel sure will satisfy the authorities.
Don't be ridiculous. That's not a death scene. Blimey, there's only one death. Besides which, we need complex motivations. Kit had a girlfriend, Ophelia, who has been driven mad.
Trying to follow this plot? Who said that? I did, so...
Because Kit has previously accidentally stabbed her father.
Tell them how, Mr. Shakespeare.
He was hiding behind a curtain and Kit stabbed him by mistake. Which is not funny. Ophelia, of course, goes mad with grief and dies.
Tell them how, Mr. Shakespeare.
She drowned in a duck pond.
There's a duck pond in this pub, then?
The duck pond is off stage. Elsewhere. Her death is reported. And will, in my view, one day provide the excuse for many pervy paintings by dirty old artists depicting dead nymphets in wet nighties. But the point is, Ophelia's death is important backstory, because as Kit turns up, hell-bent on confronting his wicked uncle...
Yes, just to be clear here, Will, how does Mr. Marlowe know that it's his uncle who's killed his father?
Yes, tell them how, Mr. Shakespeare.
His father's ghost told him. Which is not funny. So Mr. Marlowe, plagued by his father's ghost, has come to kill his uncle. Just then, Laertes turns up. That's you, Kemp.
So, Laertes, have I missed something?
He's Ophelia's brother, bent on avenging his father and his sister.
So we now have two sons avenging their fathers. Isn't this getting a little confusing, Will?
How? How is it confusing? One of the avenging sons is avenging his stabbed father and drowned sister, and the other is avenging his poisoned father and defiled mother. How could that be any clearer?
Can't think.
So, Burbage and Condell are sitting in the pub together having a flirt and a banter.
Can I have some pickled herrings to toy with? I'd like a bit of business, as I don't seem to have much in this scene.
No, Mr. Condell, because I know you, and suddenly Marlowe's death would be all about the pickled herring.
That's an outrageous slur.
Kit bursts in, full of murderous fury. But then Laertes also bursts in, also full of murderous fury. Kemp wounds Kit, but in the struggle, Kemp dies.
Tell them how, Mr. Shakespeare.
By stabbing himself.
As you do.
Condell, seeing her son wounded and feeling a bit guilty about rogering his uncle, also dies.
Tell them how, Mr. Shakespeare.
She drinks some conveniently placed poisoned wine.
Did she pour it in her ear? I've heard that's the best way to take poison.
Kit, sorely wounded but driven by vengeful fury, stabs Burbage, who also dies. Kit then dies as well before all order is restored.
Oh, tell them how, Mr. Shakespeare.
By the arrival of the Norwegian army. None of which is funny.
So what's this three-casket business got to do with a merchant, anyway? Is he Portia's suitor?
No, that's Bassanio. But Bassanio is too poor to marry Portia, so he asks his mate, the merchant, Antonio, to lend him some cash. Unfortunately, Antonio's cash is all tied up at sea, so he has to borrow it from a kindly old moneylender called Timothy. Now, Timothy's daughter Jessica is in love with Lorenzo, a friend of Bassanio's.
Nodding off already. Sorry, mate, sounds like a right load of over-convoluted puffling porridge, if you ask me.
Yeah, kind of no.
On the plus side, over-convoluted puffling porridge has never let you down before.
But people like a bit of edge, something new. I've got a clown called Lancelot Gobbo, which is a very funny name. But what else? I need a big, important, timeless issue to put at the heart of the new piece. But it's not as if a big, important, timeless issue is just going to come walking through the door.
Gosh, that was scary, but also wonderful, being part of such a big, important, timeless issue.
Goodness, Kate, where have you been?
At the anti-immigrant riots. I've been on the counter-demonstration, defending the French and Dutch refugees who have come here escaping religious persecution on the continent. It's worse than the Dutch church riots of 1593.
Yes, I fear anti-European sentiment is getting worse.
Well, they're everywhere. Talking foreign and eating weird food. I mean, soft cheese. What's all that about? Cheese is meant to be hard. When I see soft, runny cheese for sale at market, oh, I feel alienated and uncomfortable in my own city.
The other day, I was confronted by a furious crowd because a woman thought I was concealing a baguette in my tights. I mean, laughable misunderstanding, of course. Just pleased to see her.
The times really are turning ugly. Our maids and matrons protest group was continually interrupted by groups of apprentice boys, demanding that we display to them our boobingtons and even threatening our honour. Strange how some men's considered response to a woman expressing a political view or merely going about her business is sexual harassment. I'm sure that in centuries hence, men will be sufficiently emotionally mature to reject such patriarchal intimidation, or, if not, women will finally begin to stand up to it and name and shame those responsible.
Blimey, Kate, have a care. I mean, that could go horribly, horribly wrong. I mean, what of jolly banter? Yeah, what of harmless japesome japey-japes? Why, if women were to set out on such a chillingly threatening course, I mean, men would scarce be able to admire a purtsome bumshank, insist upon an overly long hug with a junior employee, or make creepy observations masquerading as compliments at Christmas parties.
Strangely, I think I could live with that.
In the meantime, the only comfort we may take from this awful anti-European rioting is that if ever such an influx of foreigners happens again, government can prepare for it properly. Affording extra funding for expanded community services and not simply dumping the incoming migrants on the poorest areas.
Yes. At least if those lessons are learned, then something good will come of this.
Meanwhile, I can't talk about prejudice, bigotry and intolerance of minorities all day. I have to find a big, important issue to put at the heart of my Merchant of Venice.
This new actor is expected any moment and Will is late upon his hour.
Sorry, the anti-immigrant protests have closed half the town.
Some are saying it could be as bad as 1517, when the blood of butchered foreigners did flow through London streets and Sir Thomas More himself faced down the mob.
You're so old, you were probably there. Old fart phobic or bravely challenging old fart phobia? You decide.
Yes, but to business. We are assembled to consider acquiring this new player who's causing quite a stir.
I've asked Kate along. I thought it could be useful to get a woman's perspective.
Such a privilege.
As long as she doesn't try and get the job herself. We've seen her girlish tricks before.
On my honour, sir.
Oh, there's no honour when it comes to getting a part, Ducky. I've torn the coconuts off more convincing girls than you.
So, what are the qualities we should be looking for in this actor?
Well, shouting, obviously, and strutting. Yes, we're looking for an actor who can shout and strut.
I am the actor Wolf Hall. But I do not shout, and I do not strut. I've developed a revolutionary new style. Subtle, nuanced, emoting from within by means of long, sad-eyed stares. Pregnant with weary wisdom and penetrating perception.
Next!
Stay a moment, Burbage. He may have something.
Here is my Thomas Wolsey. And here, by way of contrast, is my Thomas Cromwell. Now, my Thomas More.
Actually, fair play. He gives good Thomas.
I must admit, he is subtle and nuanced. Those eyes, so sad.
And so pregnant with weary wisdom and penetrating perception. I imagine audiences will happily watch the actor Wolf Hall stare wearily and wisely for minutes at a time.
Blimey, if we had him in a show, my plays would be twice as long. Richard III would be 8 or 9 hours. How good would that be?
Book him, Mr. Burbage. Trust me, us brainy birds will go totally wibbly-wobbly for an actor like that. This gal's already a member of the Wolf Pack. Woo!
Well, he does have a certain presence, I admit. Perhaps in smaller roles.
There are no small roles for the actor Wolf Hall, Mr. Burbage. With a stare as weary, penetrating, and perceptive as this, every role is a lead. The actor Wolf Hall bids you good day.
Get out, make way!
Sir, what ails, sir?
Panic not, Mrs. Shakespeare. The maid hath but fainted.
Fainted? But why?
A dreadful confrontation in the tavern, Mrs. Shakespeare. Susanna was making merry with a group of young people when a boy called Claude did approach and defame her most vilely, calling her a tarting slap.
I Sue, a tarting slap? Never.
Afraid so, Mrs. S. Seems she was seen snogging some other bloke and letting him cop a feel up.
I never done it, Mum, I swear.
Fear not, Susanna. You have been the victim of a foul plot, which I, as master of the watch, have uncovered. Tell them everything you told me. Omit nothing.
Omitting nothing, sir. I said, hello, Master Shakespeare. 'Tis a bit of a chilly night. You said, bloomin' chilly, Master Dugbury. 'Twould freeze the Bolingbrook
When I said omit nothing, I meant omit nothing important. You are a ass.
Permission to object, sir. Dost thou not suspect my place? Dost thou not suspect my years?
Suspect? He means respect. What a hilarious confusion of language. Wish I'd written it.
I'm sure in time you will.
I was doing my watching. I was watching here. I was watching there. I was watching everywhere. That'd be my job, as we be called the watch.
And then you heard something.
I did, sir, which I hope did not exceed my duties, sir, being as how we be not called the listen.
Tell them what you heard.
A very rogue and peasant knave called Don John, sir, boasting as how he had done a trick by snogging up the sluttage Margaret, but telling Claude as how he'd been snogging up the chaste Susanna. I have him locked up, sir, and the whole village will know of his slander.
Thank you. You are dismissed.
Well, we must also take our leave. Big show tomorrow.
But so important to bring arts to the regions. It's very culturally divisive that the entertainment industry is so London-centric.
Like mad culturally divisive.
I agree. Why should there not be a theatre or production facility elsewhere? The Lancashire village of Salford, for example.
Except then we'd all be horribly inconvenienced whenever we wanted to work there.
Unless we moved, I suppose. Went to live in the north.
Perhaps best left as it is, so we'll see you anon. Good evening.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bird.
Oh, well done, husband. Brilliant police work. A rogue unmasked and Susanna's name be cleared.
And I can get my Claude back.
This Claude must be taught a lesson before he be welcomed back into the fold. And I have a brilliant idea.
Oh, God.
We must tell him that Sue did not faint, but died. Of a broken heart. Then will I, as stern father, go to Claude and inform him that as penance, he must get with my niece Prue instead. Then when Claude comes here for Prue, he will find this Prue all veiled, because, bet you can't guess...
It's me.
Oh, you did guess. Well, yes, you will reveal yourself as Sue, Claude will have been taught his lesson, you will take him back, and all will be love and joy.
I think you should sleep on it. Come on, kids. Judith, you shouldn't still be up. And Hamnet. Hamnet.
Hamnet. Hamnet. Hamlet's run away.
Boy missing. This is a job for the watch.
He's not missing. I know exactly where he's gone. It's you and your stupid blooming play wheel exciting the boy about war. I'll be back.
Such joy. And look how pretty Susanna is, with Claude coming to collect her for a gadsome Datlington. So romantic. Even if he does think he's coming to collect her fictitious cousin, Prue.
It's all working perfectly, Anne. And look, see how my other romantic plan develops? Kit and Kate do exchange shy glances and winsome sighs. Both seeking ways of declaring their affection. Soon the bantering will be replaced with sweet words of love.
Hello, Claude.
Hello, Mrs. Shakespeare. Hello, Mr. Shakespeare. Sorry about slagging off your Sue and causing her to die of shame and sadness, love.
Well, I'm surprised you've got the Bollingbrookes to show your face around here at all.
Well, Mr. Shakespeare said I had to cop off with his niece Prue.
You in. And now will Sue reveal herself. She and Claude will dance merrily. Kit will reveal his love to Kate, she to him, and all will be love, sweetness, and light.
Prue, I'm Claude. I've come to get with you, instead of dead Sue.
Hello, Claude.
Oh, my God, you're alive. I can't believe it. And you look really lush and all. Can I get with you?
Come here.
Lovely. He'll be down on one knee before you know it.
Or both knees, Dad. First, you call me a sluttage in front of the whole town, and then, with me only dead a day, you want to cop off with my fictitious cousin Prue? I hate you, Claude. I thought I loved you, but I hate you. So go and cop a feel off Margaret if she'll have you.
You're all blooming bonkers!
Plan going well so far, Master?
Well, I admit that bit didn't quite go as I imagined. But love is still in the air.
Kate?
Yes, Mr. Marlowe.
Thing is, I know.
I know too, Mr. Marlowe. I overheard Mr. Shakespeare.
Same, and what I'm trying to say is, while I think you're very nice...
I don't even think you're very nice.
What?
I know you love me, but I truly, deeply do not love you.
Hang on, I don't love you.
But
Will
Mr. Shakespeare...
Plan's still going well, is it, Master?
But if you don't secretly love each other, why have you been trading arch and impish insults these many weeks?
Because we're really sick of each other.
Deeply irritated?
So not to disguise a secret love at all, then?
In what universe does exchanging insults indicate secret love, Mr. Shakespeare?
Only in his tortuous and convoluted one, dear. It's why he's a genius.
Mr. Shakespeare promises us a Roman play, and all is in readiness. We have the costumes, wigs, and props. We await only the script. And mark me, my Caesar will be a triumph greater even than the man himself.
Why, man, he doth bestride the narrow world like a colossus, and we petty men walk under his huge legs and peep about to find ourselves getting upstaged at the final bows.
Or, but better, he ain't all that, and it's time he got shafted.
But do we have the numbers? Longinus approaches.
The musicians are with you, sir. Mr. Burbage is a foul tyrant who did once take a pee in the kettle drum.
And the mob players.
With you also. Though, beg that when you beat Chief Lovey Kissy, you make Mr. Shakespeare shorten his soliloquies, through which we must stand for many hours, pretending to understand.
And the thunderboard wobbler, the front of house prostitutes. Then all is ready. Come, Kemp. Brothers, Burbage is a tyrant. 'Tis time to end this tyranny. Strike him down!
What means this outrage?
You hog the final bows, which is totally unprofessional.
You get your own dress in place, which is just so wrong.
And you farted when my Beatrice kissed your Benedict. We need a new Chief Lovey Kissy.
It's true, Mr. Condell. It's true, Kemp. It's fall, Burbage. Betrayed.
Liberty, freedom, tyranny is dead, ambition's debt is paid. I am Chief Lovey Kissy now.
What's this? Be Burbage usurped?
Yes, and it's no good you trying to object, because the musicians, the mob players, the man who wobbles the thunder sheet, and the front of house prostitutes are all with me.
Object? Why would I object? Friends, prostitutes, strutty shouty boys, pin back your lug holes. I come to bury Burbage, not to praise him.
Betrayed?
Burbage was my friend, faithful and just to me. But Condell says he was ambitious, and Condell is an honourable man.
Yes!
Condell has said that Burbage doth hog the final bows and will ever pop the loud and boisterous trouser trumpet during other actors' quiet bits. And Condell is an honourable man.
Hey!
Yet Burbage will always get his round in at the pub and will keep us enthralled for many, many hours with but a single theatrical anecdote. Does this in Burbage seem ambitious? Yet Condell says he is ambitious, and Condell is an honourable man. When all the company do venture forth for a celebratory supper, and the reckoning is brought, and some glutton or other doth cry, why don't we just split it equally? Ne'er will Burbage quibble that he only had a starter. Does this in Burbage seem ambitious? Yet Condell says he is ambitious, and Condell is an honourable man.
See what he's doing here, mate? He's using the brilliant oratorical device of ironic repetition to turn the mob. You've been shafted.
But if we stand together, we can face down the mob.
Yeah, right, gonna do that. Burbage is wronged. Condell be the traitor. Burbage is Chief Lovey Kissy. Hail Burbage!
Hail Burbage! Will, your brilliant oratorical device of ironic repetition has saved me. Is there anything I can do for you? A drink? A lengthy theatrical anecdote?
Well, that would be lovely, of course, but what I'd really like to discuss is the casting of my teenage totty roles.
The crow is in my clutches at last. This extremely short Roman play be clearly seditious. It celebrates the murder of a ruler. Well, I will grant his application. And when the play is performed, then cry havoc and let slip the dogs of war.
You see, I've only sent him half the play. He thinks it ends with the death of Caesar, but in fact, Caesar dies at the beginning of Act 3.
Oh, I see. Oh, yes, that is rather clear. What? Caesar dies halfway through the play?
A bit less than half, in fact, about 40%.
But it's the title role!
Well, you know, they talk about him quite a lot in the second half.
Talk about him? You write a title role and kill him off at the beginning of Act 3? Betrayed! Betrayed! A second time betrayed! And true, Mr. Shakespeare, I shall not present this play. We shall give greens, bungy, and bacon instead.
No, wait, Mr. Burbage, what about if I brought Caesar back in Act 4 as a ghost?
A ghost? You do that? No tricks?
Well, you know, if I have to.
I suppose it might work. I could use my deathly howl.
Yes, absolutely. Or else not.
Very well. Reluctantly, I agree.
And when Green tries to close us down for presenting a play that ends with regicide, we will disgrace him by showing how the conspirators all get their just desserts.
Yes, by being haunted and tormented by Caesar's omniscient, ever-present, avenging, constantly howling ghost in every single scene.
Absolutely. Or maybe just briefly in Act 4, Scene 3. 16 words should do it, I think.
Right, I'm ready.
Ready for what?
The auditions, of course. You're choosing a new principal boy, aren't you? And since you've always admitted that I play a girl better than any boy, and also 'twas I who pointed out the Roman strategy that did for Mr. Condell, plus I left Plutarch's Lives in the Privy, plus I pointed out how to make the play queen-friendly, I naturally presumed you'd let me try again to get into the company because I really, really wanted, and it's my dream.
Look, I'm sorry, Kate, really I am, but it's the law, and the law has zero respect for women.
Because the law was made by men!
I'm sorry, Kate. Your heart and mind are of the finest, and yet, for want of a cod dangle, you be lowlier than any base and stupid rogue in Albion. Your only hope for comfort and security is to marry.
He's right, Kate. I've been looking dreamy and hot. Look, reading poetry. So sensitive.
It's upside down.
Can't believe Amelia's actually coming. First time I've met her since the unfortunate misunderstanding over sonnet number 130.
When you mentioned her eyes were dull, her hair like wire, her skin a dullish grey, and her breath reeked.
Yes, and amazingly, she failed to spot that I was satirizing traditional romantic poetry.
You've asked her round pretty early. The awards aren't for ours. Are you hoping to grab a chance to hide your will in hers?
No. I'm taking her to supper at Lucy's. What a night. Dinner with a beautiful, sophisticated girl, then showing her off during my triumph at a star-studded awards ceremony. It does not get any better than this.
Mr. Shakespeare, I really think you need to remember that you are a married man.
Look, I'm just taking her to dinner.
You can tell yourself that if you like, Mr. Shakespeare. But you and I both know that given half the chance, you'd be in there like the eager rodent up the proverbial piping drain.
Oh, God, she's here. This is it. I'm actually going to take Amelia Lear on a glamorous night out.
Master.
Madam, this is the greatest moment of my life.
Oh, that's nice, love. Because I have made a bit of an effort.
Anne, you're in London?
Yes. Mwah. Well, I was sorry that I'd been so cross about your big night. And when you made me change the date of Hamlet's confirmation, I decided I'd come and support you. Like you said, it's the greatest moment of your life.
What? Oh, yes, of course. Yeah.
In fact, it's almost like you were expecting somebody. Are you expecting somebody, Will?
No, well, of course not.
Who's that, then?
Nobody. Kate, run and tell Bottom to make sure there's nobody at the door. And if there is, tell him I've got the plague.
You stay right where you are, Kate. If there's nobody there, then it won't matter if we find out who it is, will it?
Master, it's...
Mr. Shakespeare, I'm so looking forward to coming to the award ceremony.
Oh, my God, it's that tart you wrote them smutty poems for.
I beg your pardon. William, who is this oikish milking slap?
It's Mr. Shakespeare's wife, Amelia. No doubt come to accompany him to tonight's awards. Perhaps you and Mrs. S would like to join me and Amelia for dinner.
Kit Marlowe. Ah! I thought you were dead!
The resemblance is shocking, I know, but not Kit. Kurt. His ravishing blonde twin invited to the awards ceremony to collect Kit's award, which was why I asked Will to invite you on my behalf. You meant so much to Kit, after all.
Well, yes. I remember his poem. Amelia, Amelia, by God, I'd like to feel ya. So much better than Mr. Shakespeare's disgusting sonnet about putting his will in my...
Well, exactly. Will and I were hoping that you would be my date in memory of Kit. Isn't that right, Will?
Yes, absolutely. I'd thought to go alone, but now you are here, my darling Anne. Things couldn't be merrier.
Welcome to the famous Red Lion Theatre for the first annual London Theatre Awards. I'm Will Kemp, yeah? I'm brilliant, by the way. Oh, just saying. Oh, look at you all thinking, oh, I really hope I win. What for? For being rubbish at acting? What's the difference between you lot and Mary Queen of Scots? She only died horribly in front of a large crowd once. I see Sir Francis Drake's just been buried at sea off Cadiz in full armour. I bet he went down better than most of you lot.
I think he's misjudged the mood of the room.
I think he's brilliant. So dry. So edgy.
He's just being rude.
Anyway, lovely to be here. Well, what I mean is, lovely to be paid to be here. Can't think of any other reason. Unless you're some desperate old lovey kissy who'll go anywhere for a free drink, like most of you lot.
Why are they laughing? He's saying they're all desperate.
He's just so out there.
Doesn't care. Such a cooling dude.
He's just being arrogant and unpleasant.
He's just so dry and edgy.
He's not dry and edgy. He's just slagging everyone off for being a pampered lovey-kissy. Even though, beneath the thin veneer of post-Renaissance ironic cool, he's the biggest pampered lovey-kissy of the lot. And if there's one thing more irritating than being a pampered lovey-kissy, attending a gala evening for pampered lovey-kissies, being slagged off by a pampered lovey-kissy, it's having all the other pampered lovey-kissies in the room pretending to be wryly amused and in on the joke in the desperate hope that it'll make them look less like pampered lovey-kissies. Well, I like being a pampered lovey-kissy. I amuse people for a living and never killed anyone. And when I win all my interestingly shaped statuettes tonight, I'm not going to pretend that I think that everyone else is as good as me, because I don't. And I'm not going to bang on about suffering and poverty, because it's neither my fault nor in my power to change. I'm going to whoop and cheer and possibly do a little victory dance, because I'm blooming best and I want a prize.
So, first bit of pointless self-congratulation. Sorry, I meant award. It's for Best Revival. And to present it, we've got an actor who has done a lot to stop starvation, yeah? By eating all the pies! Please welcome Dickie Burbage.
And the nominations for Best Revival are Richard III, by Will Shakespeare, currently enjoying its 5th triumphant season in London repertory.
Oh, God, I so didn't expect to win this. I haven't prepared a speech at all.
And Fire Bacon and Fire Bungay by Robert Greene, performed for one night only at the refectory in the Inns of Court.
What?
And the winner is Robert Greene, Fire Bacon, Fire Bungay.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Shakespeare. I know you wanted to win so much.
Nonsense. Like it matters. As if. It's all crappage anyway. Besides, that was only for a revival. I'll win everything else.
The nominations for Best Tragedy are Julius Caesar by Will Shakespeare. And the winner is Robert Greene, Friar Bacon and Friar Bungay.
Nominations for Best Comedy, Much Ado About Nothing by Will Shakespeare. The winner is Robert Greene, Fire Bacon, Fire Bungay.
In a male role, Richard Burbage for Friar Bacon and Robert Greene's Friar Bacon and Friar Bungay.
Will Kemp as Ralph Simnel in Robert Greene's Fire Bacon, Fire Bungay.
And I intend to make an absolute beast of myself at the after-party in his honour.
Henry Condell for the Fair Maid of Freshingfield in Robert Greene's...